It's the last day of my first solo land trip, and today in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I'm going to a funeral. All right, today is a rough one because I am I am feeling the soreness in my calves, my hamstrings, my quads from trying to hike the volcano. So I am super sore, but so this morning I got up, I just took my time getting up, just relaxing, went to the beach. I did my morning walk and talks from there. So now I'm waiting to be picked up. I'm going to Lori's father's funeral. Yeah, she invited me to come to the funeral on the first day, and of course I'm thinking, but she told me I would have a good time. And she said because the Caribbean funerals are a bit different. They're about celebrating life. Her father died and they held off until all the sisters could come back to the island to celebrate his life. So that is where I am going today. Now, when I first arrived in St. Vincent, our very first stop was Lori's house. She lives there with her 2 daughters, and she was the one who introduced me to my very first taste of breadfruit. Roasted, warm, and perfectly smoky. Now, previously, we talked about how Vincentians made a living. What I came to find out about Lori is that she wears many hats. She's a dressmaker by profession, but she also does a bit of designing as well. Some of her creations include hair bonnets, bridal robes, regular robes, tote bags, and casual wear. She even makes prom and pageant gowns. But her true niche and her passion is bridal design. She loves fitting her brides for their special day and seeing their joy come to life. Lori's also deeply involved in community in St. Vincent. Like Troy, she stepped up after the eruption, and she organizes events that empower and uplift other women. And she has an inclusive heart. Not only did she welcome me into her home, but she also invited me to her father's funeral on my very first day here. To get to the funeral, we took a taxi, about a 45-minute ride to Rosebank in North Leeward. When we arrived, I immediately felt at ease. It wasn't quiet or somber like the funerals I'm used to. This was a celebration filled with music, songs, and stories shared among family and friends. There was laughter, joy, and an unmistakable sense of love in the air.
And for allowing us to use the church for your comforting words and spiritual guidance.
As the service ended, joyous music filled the room. It truly felt like a farewell wrapped in gratitude. But what I didn't realize was that this celebration wasn't over just yet, because next came the procession. Hey, are you enjoying this content so far? If you are, I hope that you will like this video and subscribe to the channel so that I'll know to create more content like this. And this wasn't like any procession I'd ever seen. It was full of life, movement, and rhythm. People dancing, singing, and playing instruments as they walked together. No, this was not like any funeral I'd ever attended. Now, I noticed something. There were way more people in this procession than there had been inside the church. Now, what I learned is that it's customary for friends of the family or friends of the relatives to be invited and to just join in to show support, even if they didn't personally know the person who passed. They come to be present, to walk, to celebrate, to lift up the family. And because these processions are so full of music and joy, everyone knows they're going to have a good time while honoring the life that was lived. At first, I'll admit, I felt uneasy about going. Where I come from, funerals are quiet, private, and deeply solemn. But here in the Caribbean, it's different. They celebrate the life that was lived. And standing there, I felt honored to be included. Then it started raining, but that didn't put a damper on the spirit of the celebration. People continued down the steep hill to the burial site. But I'll be honest, my legs were done. The last thing I wanted to do was slip and make this all about me. So I stayed at the top with another group, soaking in the music and the emotion from above. This experience was unexpected, but it reminded me of why we travel. Travel opens our hearts to moments that don't fit neatly into what we know. Solo travel isn't just about beaches and cocktails. It's about connection, humility, and being invited, even briefly, into someone else's story. And then there was the repast. And you already know, yes, this food was absolutely delicious. Good morning. Well, today is Sunday and today I fly back home. So it's almost over. So I have a later flight. Flight doesn't board until 2:05 and we leave at 2:50. So I thought I'd come out here and get some morning coffee and just sit out here for a minute, just soaking up the last views of the sea before I leave. And I will say, now there are tents still up here. They've been having events the last couple of days, school events, proms and fundraisers and things like that. So they still have everything still set up. This has been a great experience. And I will say, this has been a great introduction to my first land solo trip. Now, this was a full 7 days, but because I worked 3 days, I really only had 3 days to explore. And there is so much on this island to explore. I didn't get a chance to go to the waterfalls, a waterfall, and I didn't get a chance to go to Bequia, another island, so I want to do that. So you know what that means. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back. And this time I feel comfortable enough to try it completely on my own without a guide, even though now I feel like I have family here. So that when I come back, you know, I can talk to Mom, I can talk to Lori. But yeah, so I do plan to come back because I have to tackle the volcano again, at least give it another try. And, you know, hopefully I can make it to the top, but I just feel so defeated. So I have to come back and give it a try. Now, if I can't get to the top a second time, then, you know, hey, I know I tried, I gave it my all, but yeah, I got to come and try that again. But I will definitely be back and be back on my own. I know I can get around. I can flag down a van. So I know how to get to Kingston. But yeah, I really feel confident enough to come back and do this completely on my own, which I will do. But right now I am having a little coffee and then I'm going to take a quick walk, a final walk on the beach, and then go over here to the restaurant. That's the restaurant right there. So I'm gonna go over to the restaurant. They had a Caribbean breakfast on the menu, so I do want to try that. That's gonna be my last meal, my last full meal before I leave. So I got a little time. I'm going to savor every last minute until it's time for me to board that plane. All right, so let me finish up my coffee and get down to the beach. Heading to the beach one last time. So I'm on the upper level, just came down here. And right here is the beach. So we're just gonna do a quick stroll, just one last time. My first solo land-based trip was everything I hoped it would be and more. I can definitely see myself mixing in solo land travel with my solo cruises. And I'm convinced I chose the perfect island for this. And having the best tour guide in the world made it even easier. That combination gave me the confidence I needed to do more of this in the future. This was a very nice day. I really enjoyed myself. And I would not mind coming back and staying here again when I come back. This is Sunset Shores. Or I loved it here, but I may try another property in another area or something. I don't know. But this was a very nice place. And that's where we were, right over there. That's Young Island, where we took the ferry over the other day. And this is the end of the boardwalk. And I will head back. So here was the menu. This is the breakfast menu at the hotel. And since it's my last day, I'm definitely gonna try something Caribbean. So I think I'm gonna do this Caribbean breakfast. So that's salted cod prepared with tomatoes, onions, peppers. That sounds like what Mom made me with plantains and bakes or doughboy. So I'm gonna get that again because it was so delicious. All right, and here is the Caribbean breakfast. We have our salted cod. Looks like 2 rolls here, some plantains and tomatoes. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a beautiful island with a rich, layered culture. And I haven't even scratched the surface of all there is to see and do here. I loved learning about this island from a proud, knowledgeable Vincentian who loves his country and his people. And one thing's for sure, I'll definitely be back to hang out with my new Caribbean family again. Okay, so I want to get back to when I met you on the ships and you were talking about your island. So why should people come visit?
St. Vincent.
Yes.
It's an island that not many people know about it because we are not one of the top Caribbean islands. So a lot of people, whenever they would interact with me on cruise ships, the first thing that they would ask me is, am I from Jamaica? Because Jamaica, apart from Cuba, they are the #1 Caribbean territory where everybody knows Jamaica because of their music and the athletes and everything. And for me, I could have easily said, yes, I am from Jamaica and take some props from Jamaica, but for me, I love showcasing my island. So I would say openly to people, I am not from Jamaica. We do speak similar, we do have a lot of things similarly, but I am from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And then they would be like, where's that? And I'll tell them, oh, we're just off Barbados. And then I'll be like, yeah, come on over, check us out. Because if you love Jamaica that much, if you love Barbados that much, St. Martin and these islands, which it's much easier to get to these islands. That's why people know them. You're gonna love St. Vincent just as much because I've been to so many different other Caribbean islands. The culture, it's pretty much the same. So it's the same experience. So instead of going back to Jamaica 100 times, Barbados 100 times, try St. Vincent for a first time, and then when you come here, you have the luxury of going to, if possible, 10 different islands because It's St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 32 islands in one. St. Vincent being mainland, then you can go to Bequia, which is like a new country, but we just call it Bequia, another Grenadine island. You can go to Canawan, which is like another country, Union, Mairo, you know, and it's an experience. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different island hopping, and you know, you get your money's worth. Yeah, but traveling to and fro, you have to get flights. But we have a number of airlines now that have been like frequenting our shows and ports, and we're slowly becoming a tourist destination now. We just recently opened an international renowned resort, well, hotel, Sandals, yeah. And we're just building a brand new cruise port as well, which should be able to like bring cruise ships to St. Vincent. But it's we used to be called the gem of the Antilles. It's a hidden gem. Like, you come here, not many people know about it, and then you get to see so much, do so much, and you just fall in love with it. And then you can go and tell somebody about St. Vincent, and they won't know where it is. That's one thing you have over them. I've been to St. Vincent and you've never been.
Yeah.
Because you ask as many Americans, which Caribbean islands have you been? They're gonna say Jamaica.
Right.
They're gonna say Barbados, you know. So if you can't say to them, well, I've been to St. Vincent, then you have that over them.
When I said I didn't tell anybody, you know, first what island I was going to.
Yeah.
And the top guesses were Jamaica. Mexico, and
Bahamas.
Bahamas.
Yeah.
So it's like nobody suspected, you know, St. Vincent.
Yeah, it's
you know,
a hidden
so.
gem.
Are you ready for your first or your next cruise and need assistance? Scan the QR code and let's work together to plan your customized cruise experience.